Now we are moving to that Q&A session. So thank you also so much that your audience. So we received so many questions and on this box. So, but the time is quite limited. I may not to pick up full questions, but I try to pick up some of the key questions to each speakers. So let's see the question in first. I would like to ask Ismahan for your questions. So I just read a bit. So policies and investments are very much needed to make fruits and vegetables more nutritious as well as sustainable. In turn, I guess there may be challenges to disseminate such benefit to wider population, especially in low-income countries. How FAO can address these challenges to ensure no one left behind? So, do I ask this question to Ismahan, please?
Yes, sure, Hiroto. Thank you very much for the question, and thank to the person and to all speakers. It was very interesting, really, to follow the subject from different lenses and different perspectives. So yes, true, it's very challenging really to make sure that the benefit goes wide, and particularly in low-income countries. And that's where I think FAO is very well positioned in terms of being the UN agency that is specialized on food and agriculture, in terms of our convening power, and also the fact that we are intervening at different levels. We are intervening at the policy level, particularly at the global, but also at the country level, like Mrs. Eriko Hibi and her team in Japan. It's representing FAO at the country level. So we are intervening on the policy both at the global, at the regional and country level, but we are also intervening on the technical side through our technical assistance programs, through our capacity building program, through our awareness program. So the idea behind is that we need really to enter to the point from many places. So at the country level, particularly in the least income countries, there's a lot of need, as I said, both for policies for the consumer, for the supply chain. There is a need for infrastructure. There's a huge need as well for capacity building. And particularly, I see myself a huge opportunity for creating the private sector at the local level around the food and vegetable value chain. So there is a solution in that, a solution in terms of employability, a solution in terms of attracting youth, but through technology and innovation, and particularly processing, post-harvest, different steps that are beyond the harvest per se. And this is an opportunity for employability, from economic, for increasing the income. And that's really what FAO tried to do. It's the entry from the policy, the technical, the collaboration with the local private sector, the capacity building, the awareness, and the collaboration with organizations in research to bring a new solution like JIRCAS, like the World Vegetable Center, like all the centers that have been talking today. So that's where I see it's possible. Yes, it needs a lot of investment, and that's where we are looking up to JICA as well to help us intervene at that level, at the country level, particularly in the least income countries. Thank you very much, Hiroto. Over to you.
Thank you. Quite clear answers. It's very much good. Well, and then so let's move on to the Professor Izura. So the question is, so thank you for introducing that GABA tomato, which is a breakthrough achievement by genome editing. Expectations for genome editing are high, but given the future movement of the product across countries, harmonization between product-based and process-based countries can be future concern. If you have any information on global trend in the handling of genome-edited crops, including developing countries, would you please let us know? Dr. Ezra, please.
Thank you very much for the questions. So from the, after April, I have a lot of invitation. Can you hear me? I have a lot of invitation for the webinar invitation to the different countries, more than 20 times this year. And for discussing about the regulation of these new products. And I think that the genome editing technology is divided into 3 classes. We call it the type 1, type 2, type 3. Among the type 1 is considered to be a non-GM, and most of the country are invited. And there's other type 2 and type 3, which is now on discussion. Still, and a big movement has been happened this year. So Europe is a kind of a negative country for this kind of new technologies, but they evaluate their statement which made in 2018, and so they evaluated their statement again about the and then so they made some conclusion. They published some conclusion on this April, end of this April. According to that, their statement, their regulation rule in the Europe is very established 30 years ago, and that is not followed the development of science. So that's they suggest going to change their regulation rule in even Europe. Maybe I think that the European regulation will be, especially type 1 products of gene editing, going to be same in other countries like US and Japan, and also developing country. I have invited some developing country for the webinar, and they're also discussing about the handling with the same as other like Europe and Japan. So that's I think that the situation is changing to be positive to use these new techniques, but carefully. That's my comment for this question.
And maybe Hiroto, if I may, we are developing, Dr. Ezura, we are developing a reference paper on gene editing as FL. So it will be interesting, and the idea is really to look how we could pay attention, the importance of the technology, and clarify a little bit the difference between different countries. So we will invite you to review with Dr. Ezura, if you don't mind.
Well, thank you, Ezra Sensei. Also, thank you for your intervention. So the question and answer is very much clear. So the next is the question to Dr. Sugahara. The smart technology seems providing enormous amount of data for precious agricultures. Are these technologies already economically feasible? Examples, benefit of resources use, efficiency outweigh investment cost, or it is a matter of the time or skills? So please answer, Dr. Sugahara. Thank you.
Thank you for many questions and opinions about this question. Exactly, it is the matter of time and scale. Difficult problem is how to input required data from agricultural fields automatically or efficiently. We are developing such system to get various data from agricultural sites. I think it's important.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your answers. The next one is the question for Ms. Shiratori. The poor household in low-income countries, once a day, staple food isn't theirs. I think Japanese aid on agriculture is put focus to rice productions. As you know, not only locally distributed, even imported, especially seed, fertilizers, machineries. So what is the suggestion for improvement? Dr. Shiratori, please.
Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, Japanese aid or technical cooperation may have focused on rice. It's because Japan has experience and skills and knowledge of rice and have a relative strength for that. But now we are aware that the importance of nutritional balance, and not only the energy, but also micronutrient intake is also important. So increasing rice production is still important, and it contributes to food security, but it can't provide all of the nutrient sufficiently. So these days, GEOCAS are trying to consider agriculture as agriculture system considering local context, such as locally available crops. So I hope this answers a question for some. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm expecting that future activities on GEOCAS. So thank you so much. The final question is to Dr. Marco. The question is, so thank you for your insightful presentation with important message on fruits and vegetables research and action priorities. In the futures, the private sectors may play an important role in the pull and push process for fruits and vegetables, not only in developed countries, but also in developing countries. Would you please tell us if World Vegetable has a collaborate activities with the private sectors on fruits and vegetable research and actions? So Dr. Marco, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. That's an interesting question. When I think working with the private sector for us is mainly on the supply side and then focusing on seed. So in early 2017 or so, we established a consortium under the umbrella of the Asia Pacific Seed Association and inviting seed companies to work with us. And now we have 38 seed companies working with the World Vegetable Center. They have limited exclusivity to our breeding lines, and they also report back on seed sales and which part of those seed sales have a link to us, our work. So if you like, that provides us with a dashboard, a real-time dashboard of our impact in Asia Pacific region, and consortium members also can buy into certain projects. They're in particular very interested in disease resistance and heat tolerance. Focus in Asia is maybe mainly tomato, chili and sweet pepper and cucurbits. So that's one thing in Asia, because so many vegetable farmers actually buy their seed, 20 to 25%, according to Access to Seed Index. So it's an important scaling mechanism for us, and it keeps our feet on the ground because seed companies know their business. In Africa, we set up a similar consortium 2-3 years ago, and their picture is very different because seed sector hardly exists for vegetables. So here we have to build the seed sector, and we very much work with both the informal and the formal seed sector. And our Africa Vegetable Breeding Consortium there now has 46 members, 23 of them from the formal sector, and interestingly, exactly the same number from the informal sector. So I would love to do more with the private sector. I would be very intrigued to work with on the pull side, as I said before, to learn from this the marketing power of these companies, and together work on marketing healthy food. For the moment, our work with private sector is on the push side related to seed, and is very, very important for scaling our products. Thank you very much. Back to you, Chair.
Well, so thank you very much for Dr. Marco, and very much clear. So on the quite now the time is running. So due to the time limitation, all questions and comments which have not been addressed today will be answered after the symposium and will be posted on the GEOCAS website.